There is a roster move the Bengals need to make at this point in training camp, and in this video, I'll explain why the situation at hand is begging the Bengals to make a call. Hi again, Bengals fans. John Sheeran of A to Z Sports Cincinnati here, and luckily for the Bengals, they've made it out of the first 5 training camp practices pretty damn healthy. Yes, they're still without a couple players on the NFI list in Seth McLaughlin and Zach Moss. BJ Hill is not fully 100% back, and Dax Hill is still getting rotated in here and there, but for the most part, the key contributors of this team are fully healthy, and they're fully participating, including Shamar Stewart. The only notable injury that occurred during the first 5 practices involved right guard Lucas Patrick, who appeared to suffer a right calf injury on the 3rd day of practice. Now, being listed as day-to-day is a rather positive sign for Patrick, considering that Zach Taylor is typically very conservative about injury prognosis, and he doesn't want to speak too far ahead of time. But still, he hasn't been out there for the last couple of practices, and that is bad news for this offensive line. Not necessarily because Lucas Patrick is going to save the offensive line, but rather he's not out there splitting reps of Cody Ford, who is now uncontested for the right guard job. And that is a huge problem for the Bengals. The whole point of bringing back Cody Ford on the 2-year deal that he signed in March was to give him competition and push him this time of year. And if he ended up being the best option, then fair is fair. He won the job, and he gets to start week 1. If he is unchallenged for any point in time in this 6-week ramp up to the regular season, that is a huge issue for the Bengals, because at the end of the day, he's still Cody Ford, and he's by far the weakest link of that offensive line. And this is exactly why the Bengals should now make a move that they should have made months ago, and that is to sign another guard. Reason number 1. Lucas Patrick versus Cody Ford is not a serious battle for an offensive line position in the National Football League. The only reason the Bengals don't know that is because they continue to be completely blinded at evaluating the guard spot. So this goes beyond the injury that Patrick suffered. Regardless if he's healthy or not, there should be another body in there pushing both of these guys. But now that Patrick is not able to practice at all, there is no reason why Cody Ford should be the only option to start. And this is only amplified because Matt Lee apparently is dealing with an injury too. And there were rumors about him potentially taking some snaps at guard to see how he would look, but he can't even do that right now. I know it's been a few months since this topic was brought up. I remember the whole Tevin Jenkins situation back in March. Dalton Risner reaching out to the Bengals on TikTok in April and May. But all of that was before the situation presented itself for the Bengals to actually do something. Instead of being proactive and getting ahead of the situation has now presented itself for the Bengals to make a move. And if they don't, I really don't understand their thought process with that. It doesn't even have to be a guy like Brandon Scherff, who is the obvious fan favorite. He has a connection with Scott Peters, the offensive line coach, when they were both back at Washington. Will Hernandez, who recently played for the Arizona Cardinals, he announced to be fully healthy and ready for the season coming off of a torn ACL. Obviously, Risner is still out there, and he's a mercenary who always ends up signing around this time of the year. Hell, even Shaq Mason, I think, could push Cody Ford right now. There are not only options at play here, again, this is the exact scenario in which the Bengals should make a move, because oftentimes the Bengals don't end up making the right decision unless they're forced to do so, which is why it was a pleasant surprise when they appeared to go after Noah Fant last week. But more times than not, the decisions that the Bengals make are typically reactionary, and their planned battle for right guard falling apart not even a week into training camp, that should be a red flag for them. I know that they like Cody Ford. I know that he's going to make the team, but he can't be their best and only option at any point in training camp. This is the path in which another guard enters the equation, but it's going to take the Bengals to see that for themselves.